Suella Braverman is threatening, it would appear, to jail crooked lawyers for life if they lie about immigration applications. Is that true?
Well, I mean, I think that threat is a nonsense, to be honest. There's no way that any lawyer convicted of this crime would get anything near a life sentence, a few years maximum, probably in prison. But still, I think she is clearly determined to go after lawyers who are helping asylum seekers game the system. That's the reason why these groups were brought together, regulatory bodies, law enforcement agencies, government departments and others today to work out a plan, really, of scoping out just how significant this might be. There has been concern in government circles and among supporters of the plans to stop the boats for some time, that there is an entire industry that's sprung up here where you have everybody from the people traffickers to charities, human rights groups and lawyers and other supporters helping these asylum seekers game the system. Now, they would, I'm sure, argue that what they are doing, of course, is helping and representing people fleeing wretched conditions and in some cases from potentially life-ending situations, and they're doing their very best to help these people in traumatic situations find asylum in this country. What the government and this task force needs to try to do, starting with the lawyers, of course, is to determine whether that help and support crosses the line into illegality. Now, what the Daily Mail uncovered recently seemed blatant illegality in terms of telling asylum seekers to make up completely false backstories of who they are and what situation they fled to ensure that they had the best possible chance of getting asylum. That is, quite a clear case for them to be able to pick up on and determine that laws have been broken. But going further down the road, looking at more grey areas, it might be a bit more difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a line, a very clear distinction between somebody offering their services to help somebody who they think is in need and needs some legal advice and support, and somebody saying, look, I know if you say this, this, this and this, whether or not it's true, they won't be able to prove it, and therefore you can get off with it. And that is an avenue I'm going to be exploring shortly with a legal expert. But another area that might pique the lawyer's interest, Mark, is another threat that has been dished out to those who have been refusing, under this so-called legal advice, to go on the barge. And apparently they are being served notices to say, if you don't go on the barge, then we will boot you out. We will withdraw whatever support we've given you at the moment. And it looks as though that'll be down to the local authority to deal with these people. So could we be seeing some asylum seekers being essentially made homeless a little bit later on today?
Well, I don't know if they would be directly made homeless. Certainly at this stage, that might be unlikely. They may go into some kind of legal process where if there was a threat to make them homeless, that would be argued out. Of course, this has the net effect of just stringing the whole process over a much longer period. But it is interesting in terms of the advice, again, probably coming from lawyers and human rights groups. And in fact, Care for Cali said themselves that they were advising quite a few of the asylum seekers. Now, in terms of, a fear of water, disabilities, trauma, would these asylum seekers necessarily themselves know about these potential avenues